Good morning students. Today we are going to study chemistry for class 6. This is video number 2 for the second chapter, elements and compounds. In the first video we studied what is matter, what is element and the 4 subtypes of elements, that is metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. So let us begin today's topic. The first one is symbol of the element. Just like we all have got our names, in the same way elements also have got their names, and also the names we can form a short form for that, isn't it? Just like my name is Saloni Pava, so the short form will be SP. Some of my friends call me that also. In the same way, the elements also have got their short forms or short names. They are called the symbol of the elements. So what is the symbol of the element? It is a single letter or a 2-letter abbreviation of its full name. What is the symbol? It is a single letter or 2-letter abbreviation of the full name. Alright. And this idea for giving symbols was first given by J.J. Berzelius. He was a Swedish scientist. He said that elements, actually we had to write that chemical equations. And for writing the equations, it is easy if we have got symbols. So we can write the symbols, and J.J. Berzelius, he told that we should give the short forms, and that short forms, he said we can take the name and the first letter of the name. From that we can give the symbol for the element. But later it was a problem because so many elements can have the same symbol, like carbon and cobalt. You see, both begin with C. If you are taking C for carbon, then what are we going to take for cobalt? So after that, one organization, a very important one, IUPAC, International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry. It is an organization that takes all the major decisions for chemistry. That IUPAC told that I am going to give some guidelines, some rules, how to give the names to the elements. Okay, so let us see the guidelines. The first one is symbol corresponds to 1 or 2 letters of the English name. This point is just like the Berzelius, what he said, that it can be a single letter or 2-letter abbreviation or short form of the name. Like carbon, it is the name of the element, its symbol can be C. Then fluorine, name of the element, the symbol can be F. Calcium, its symbol can be Ca. So you see, sometimes we take single letter, and if that single letter is already used, then we take 2 letters, the first 2 letters, like in calcium. Okay, so that was the first point. The second one, what IUPAC told is, if more than one element has the same first letter, then the first letter is taken followed by another letter that is not common. Suppose if the first letter is already used and the second letter also what we are going to take is already used, then what to do? We can take the first letter and any other letter from the from this whole word. Okay, like the example we can take here for chlorine. Chlorine, you see the spelling CH it is, but the symbol for chlorine is Cl. That means first letter along with any other letter from the name. Okay, so that is to avoid confusion, because with C we have got so many elements. Cl is chlorine is one, then calcium is there, cobalt is there. So in this way you see we have got different names for different elements. Then few more examples of such kind is magnesium, Mg, although the definition, its spelling will be Mag, but its symbol is Mg here. Then Mo stands for molybdenum. Alright. Then the third point that was given is the symbols are derived from their Latin names. Suppose if the two, that means the first letter is also used, the second letter is also used, and any other letter is also used, still we have got, means still few more elements are there, then what to do? Then we can give their name according to the Latin name. All the elements, they have got a Latin name, and from that Latin name we can take their symbol. Just like for potassium we have K, for sodium we have got Na, for iron we have got Fe, then copper we have got Cu, then lead Pb, then tin Sn. Okay. Okay, so the next topic is significance of the symbol of the element. Significance means what is the importance. We'll see that. The symbol of the element represents name of the element and one atom of the element. Let us understand this. Suppose if I am taking one element carbon, its symbol is C. Okay, you know that. When you look at C, you know it is the symbol of the element carbon. So you understand what that is, the name of the element. From this you come to know that it is carbon. And anywhere if you see, if C is written, that represents an atom of the element. It represents an atom of carbon. Okay, we can take one more example. Suppose for aluminium, if it is Al, then it represents the element aluminium, and if Al is written, it is actually an atom of aluminium. Okay. Okay students, now I will be studying about compounds. In the first video I told you about compounds, that pure substances they are divided into two, elements and compounds, and pure substances are made up of one kind of particles. In that elements and compounds are there. Elements are made up of one type of atoms and compounds are made up of different kind of atoms. That means more than one kind of atom will be there. So let us see the definition of compound. A compound is a substance made up of two or more elements that are chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. See that once again. A compound is a substance made up of two or more elements that are chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. That means the compound is made up of two or more elements. See, when I say it is made up of more than one kind of atom, that means it is made up of more than one kind of element, isn't it? So it will be formed by the combination of more than two types of elements. They will be combined together and they will be combined, chemically combined in a fixed ratio. That point we will see in the characteristics. Okay, so let us see the characteristics of compounds. The first one is they are made up of two or more elements. We can understand this point with the help of examples, like carbon dioxide is a compound. CO2, its formula it is. That means it is formed by the combination of carbon and oxygen. So you see different elements are there. These carbon is the one atom of carbon element and oxygen is one atom of oxygen element. More examples can be NH3, ammonia. It is formed by the combination of nitrogen and hydrogen. Then one more we can see NaOH, sodium hydroxide. It is formed by the combination of sodium, oxygen and hydrogen. So you see different kind of atoms you can see. From the formula itself you can understand whether it is an element or compound. If you see different atoms, that means it is a compound. So here you see three different atoms are there. Here two different atoms and here also two different atoms. So I hope you understood. They are made up of two or more elements. Then the second one, they are always made up of same elements combined together in a fixed ratio. What does that mean now? If we are studying about a compound, suppose carbon dioxide if we take, if we make carbon dioxide here in India, then we will take one carbon and two oxygen. They will combine to form carbon dioxide. Suppose in any other country in America, if a scientist is making carbon dioxide, then he or she also will take one carbon and two oxygen. They will combine to form carbon dioxide. That means their ratio and their elements are fixed. No matter where on the earth are we taking carbon dioxide. Okay. That means when this ratio also, the ratio you see one carbon and two oxygen, 1:2 ratio, it is going to be fixed in case of the compounds. Okay, one more example we can consider, like ammonia. Whenever we are forming ammonia, we have to take nitrogen and hydrogen. We cannot take any other thing. Don't think that suppose in Sri Lanka, if you are making ammonia, we will take 2 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen. No. Whenever we form ammonia, we will take 1 atom of nitrogen and 3 atoms of hydrogen. This ratio is fixed, it is consistent. Okay. They will chemically combine nitrogen and hydrogen to form ammonia, that is NH3. Okay, now see the next point. Compound is homogeneous. Homo means same. That means compounds will have the same composition and properties throughout. Suppose if I have a glass of water in my hand, if I am taking one molecule from the top, from the brim of that also will be H2O. From the bottom if I take, that also will be H2O. The composition and properties of water will be same throughout. Both molecules, if I consider, they will show the properties of water only, nothing else. They will have the same composition and properties throughout. Alright. Then properties of a compounds are different from those of the constituent elements. That you should understand carefully. That means what compounds are formed? They are formed after chemical reaction. And after a chemical reaction, a new thing or a new substance is formed and it will have different properties from its constituent elements. Like I give you an example. The example of water if we take, it is formed by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. And we see hydrogen and oxygen both are gases at room temperature. But after their combination, what is formed? Water. It is a liquid, isn't it? One more difference is there. Hydrogen, it burns in air to form, it burns in the air, and oxygen is a supporter of combustion. But after their combination, what is formed? Water, that is used to put out fire, isn't it? So you see the properties are extremely different. They are nowhere same to the elements. So the compound will have its new set of properties. They will not match with the constituent elements. One more example we can take for common salt. You know what is the formula for common salt? Yes, it is NaCl. And it is formed by the combination of sodium and chlorine. We combine both to form sodium chloride NaCl. And sodium and chlorine individually if you take, they are poisonous. But when they combine, they form NaCl, a compound that is not at all harmful for us. In fact, daily we take salt. It is necessary for our body. So you see, the properties of the compounds will be different from the constituent elements. Alright. Then the next one. It is not possible to separate the constituents of a compound by physical means. If I want to separate the constituents of compounds, if I want to get back the elements from which the compound is formed, then physical means is not at all good. The physical means include sublimation, evaporation, filtration. Suppose if you are doing all these two compounds, they won't be separated. Let us take example of water again. If I tell you to separate hydrogen and oxygen from water, what will you do? Will you take a hammer and strike water and you think hydrogen and oxygen will come out? No, that will not happen. Or are you going to boil it? If you boil water, you know what happens. It will form water vapors. But again, hydrogen and oxygen we won't get. That is, water vapor is also H2O. Or suppose if you filter it, filtering water again, you will get H2O back. That means by any physical means, you won't be able to separate the constituents of compounds. Only the possible case here can be chemical means. I will tell you example for that also. Electrolysis is one chemical means by which water can be separated into its constituent elements. And what electrolysis is? It is the passage of electricity through a substance so as to decompose that substance. Like if we take water, if we are taking acidified water and we pass electricity through it, then we will be getting hydrogen and oxygen. Actually, when we do electrolysis, it is that electricity is passed with the help of two electrodes. That means one positive electrode will be there and one negative electrode. On these two electrodes, on one we will get oxygen and on the other one we will get hydrogen. So you see that water has separated to its constituent elements by a chemical means, not physical means. Alright. Then energy is usually given off or absorbed when a compound is formed. For this you should understand that whenever a compound is formed, a chemical change has taken place. Chemical change or chemical reaction has occurred. That means the elements, they chemically combine to form compounds. And whenever there is a chemical change, energy is either given off or absorbed depending upon the constituent elements. Alright. So let us have a quick recap of the characteristics. They are made up of two or more elements. They are always made up of the same elements combined in a fixed ratio. Compound is homogeneous. The properties of compounds are different from those of the constituent elements. it is not possible to separate the constituents of a compound by physical means. And the last, energy is usually given off or absorbed when a compound is formed. Okay students, that's all for today's video. In this video we studied about symbol, then significance of the symbol, definition of compound and characteristics of the compounds. These 4 topics we covered today, and there is some homework for you people, note it down. Write the symbols of the following. Some elements are given, you are supposed to write their symbols. Helium, boron, carbon, oxygen, neon, sodium, chlorine, potassium, silver, gold. Next question, name the elements. In this one, the opposite it is. The symbol is given, you are supposed to write the name of the element. Be, F, Al, Si, Ar and Ca. And children, there is one thing, when you write the symbol of the element, then the method I haven't told you. For writing that method, if it is a single letter name, then that will be written as block letter. Suppose if you are writing carbon, the symbol is C, so it will be written like this C. Nitrogen, N like this you will write in the block or the capital letter. Then oxygen you will write like this O. Alright, and if it is a 2-letter symbol, then you are supposed to write the first letter block letter and the second small letter. Let us see one example. Like for magnesium, you will write the first letter capital M and small g. Okay. Sodium, capital N and small a. Then calcium, capital C and small a. Like this you should write. And this homework, you can note it down in your copy, write the questions, write the answers, and you will find one table is given in your book, one chart is there in which many symbols are given along with their elements and symbols are given. Learn that chart properly, and thank you.